Hey, howdy. So, I was contemplating waiting until tomorrow like a reasonable person, but I drank an entire I drank an entire thermos worth of tea and I have nothing else to do. So, we continue. I also turned the sound down because it was really loud before and it's still God, it's still so loud. It's not as ridiculously loud as it used to be, at least. This is a fascinating ability. I think, if I understand correctly how this thing is programmed, how Zenball works is it basically is a raycast. What it does is it will basically shoot out however many balls and simulate how all of them would perform, and then pick the one that has the highest amount of score at the end. It's really cool. I have to wonder if the AI does something similar. And it's just the higher... It's just, what's the best way to describe it? The higher the difficulty, the more stingy it is when it comes to what shot it picks. Like, when it's easy, the shots are basically random, and by the time you get to master difficulty, it's intentionally picks... In every possible situation, it intentionally picks the best possible shot that it can take. So at that point, you were dealing with an AI that looks through nearly every possible shot and finds the one that is most likely to win in the game, which is really hard to beat. There are ways to beat chess algorithms that do that by forcing draws and doing stuff like that, but it's still damn hard. That was in time. That was in like rhythm to the music. That was cool. Something that's kind of underappreciated about people who program AI in games is what's the word for it? Taming them, so to speak. Because with some games, like what's a good example of this? Some games like Brawlhalla, for example, or a lot of fighting games have this sort of things. The Brawlhalla is not the only example. The top level difficulty for the AI is just completely unworkable. Because the AI is just ridiculous at that point, and will frame perfect parry anything you shoot, anything you throw at it, and then just combo you out of basically any situation. Or the Slap City also comes to mind. The difficulty, I forget the exact name of it because I don't really follow the creators of that game. All I remember is that it was named after one of the developers, like mom or dad or something like that. But it's completely ridiculous because there are no limits on what it can do. It is just intentionally no limits at all, just do literally whatever the AI deems as the optimal moves. And it shreds. It is insanely powerful, and 9 times out of 10, to my memory, from Alpharet videos that I watched God knows how long ago, it will just stun lock you. Ooh, that was cool. Ooh. Oh. Oh? Wow, hello. Excellent. forgot this wasn't a Splork level. I remember now that I think Splork's gimmick in Knights is that he wants to be a bowling master, right? At least if I remember correctly. Yes. This is kind of I should have waited. This is kind of an annoying level to do this on because, like, suppose I do it here, it's just gonna do a setup for a big slide. Let me do it, like, on the outside, like, here. So at least it gets some orange pegs. Really? So that was kind of doomed then. That was the highest point shot that I could find, and it was kind of unspectacular. The Zen percentage is also interesting to me. I have to wonder how that works. Maybe before they do anything else, they raycast out what your own shot would have been before the Zen mode changes, and then once it picks the best fit, then it calculates the difference between the scores. It's just a random guess, though. I don't know for sure. Oh, that is a drastically different shot. I wonder if there's an optimal way to sort of like steer Zen shot to give you the best possible scores. Kind of similar to the modern tribulations of tuning ChatGPT. Like surrounding things in parentheses and quotation marks and stuff like that to try and trick it into doing what you want. Is this going to land? Yeah! Awesome. Funny thing is, I would only scarcely refer to that as an AI, or at least a Zen ball, if it works based on raycasting like I think it is. Because when you really think about what AI is, here I go talking about AI again, oh boy. When you really think about what AI is, by definition AI would include data, right? It would include either data that's been fed in beforehand or data that's been like dynamically found on the field while the algorithm's running. But there is no data that's fed into this. It's literally just an algorithm that simulates a bunch of different shots. But is that still AI? Because a min-max algorithm is still considered to be AI in like the colloquial sense. Deep Blue is an AI. And Deep Blue is basically doing exactly what Master Who is doing here. Also, I'm very much about to lose. Unless I can pull something crazy off. Like, Deep Blue is the first famous example of artificial intelligence given in a practical setting. And it's just Minimax. Its whole function is just, okay, you take some chess scenario, you apply the rules of chess, which I guess would be the data set. You apply the rules of chess, and then you just scan through the entire game up a certain number of moves. And then you find the best possible path, and then you act on that path for one step. And then, based on what your opponent does, you can calculate the next step, and you kind of just keep going until the game ends. Usually with you as the winner. Because the only assumption that Minimax makes is that your opponent is also playing optimally. Which is not a very difficult assumption to make, frankly. It's like, oh, big shocker, your opponent is also playing to win. Maybe if you play like the Bong Cloud opening or something, it might trip up the AI, but that doesn't mean you're gonna have a higher chance of winning because you're doing the Bong Cloud AI, the Bong Cloud opening against an AI. That sucked. That also sucked. Maybe I think I should wait. I should wait until later to use these Zen shots, because they're just not working out very well this early on. Also, I wonder if the algorithm prioritizes getting the ball in the bucket if you have one ball left. Like, if it had to pick between getting the ball in the bucket or getting a purple and an orange that would give you way more points but wouldn't get enough for a free ball, which would it pick if you had one ball left? Like, logically it should pick the free ball because it prevents you from losing. But again, logic is a human construct. The AI does not know the difference between winning and losing unless we tell it. So, what does that mean for us? Shit. This is a really bad spot. Let me try this, actually. Let me wait until... Yeah, there we go. Wait until the bucket is far away so that it has to do something slick. Oh, that was awful. No, 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 my plans. Come on. Yes! Okay. I think I have to go for a bucket bounce here. Oh my god! That wasn't what I intended to do, but that was cool as hell. I will take that and try again. I've hit the Zen button. What happens now? I think my best shot is to aim somewhere around here and hope that it hits those 3 pegs in the center. Maybe wait until now so that it doesn't jump for the buckets. Is that optimal? It's hard to say. I should attempt... Yeah. I should attempt to get the orange ball over here. That was a weird shot. Excellent. Okay, now how the hell... I basically just need to throw it into the gutter and pray. Thank you. right. This is such a cool looking stage. I love both of the DNA looking levels look really, really cool. Okay, what madness is the Zen Ball going to do here? I think best course of action is to start like somewhere around here. Maybe wait for the purple to be exposed a little bit. It's an interesting challenge trying to wrangle the Zen Ball to give you the maximum benefit. Oh, come on. If that hadn't gotten caught in the string, that would have gone into the bucket. Terrible. Ugh. Fine, Zen Ball, save me. Or at least do something. Let's try this. Excellent. That's the kind of X factor I needed right now. No, 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 no! Okay. Another one where I kind of just have to throw caution to the wind. No, the wind! Ooh, this is good. That was terrible. Okay, Master Who. I have to wonder if I'm going to play Peggle Dual Shot, because it would be a game on the list of old Peggle games and old PopCap games, period. But it is kind of a pain in the butt to get DS emulation working sometimes. God, I wish I could use Cinder Bottom here. That would make this level much easier. Speaking of dragons, have I ever actually talked about Popcorn Dragon before? This is a very strange thing that I remember finding out about when I was doing research on PopCap. So Popcorn Dragon would have been the next game released by PopCap if the company hadn't been acquired by EA in 2011. After the company basically went under ? It's difficult to say what happened around that time period, but I think what basically happened was PopCap was at their height, but they were trying to shift gears to a more modernized market, to a more modernized gaming environment, and it wasn't working. If I remember reading correctly, most of the games that they released around that time period were Facebook Live games, to my memory. The last few games that they released, if I die next, I'll check the spreadsheet and see for sure. If I remember correctly, it was Bejeweled 3, Zoomer Revenge, and then a bunch of Facebook Live games, essentially. Maybe there was one Escape From game that came out, but that was basically it. Which I eventually got to get to. I think that's literally the next game right after this one is Escape from Rosecliff Island, which I have never been very good at point-and-click adventure games. So that will be really interesting to see if I'm actually any good at it. Especially because I cannot weasel my way out of it by using a guide. For at least that's my assumption. Because what's the chance that I'm going to find a guide for a point-and-click adventure game from that long ago? Probably pretty high, because if there's a guide for Grim Fandango, there's going to be a guide for this game. But I digress. All right, hang on. Let me pull up the spreadsheet real fast. And I can confirm without talking out my butt. Let's see. EA acquisition was 2011. Unpleasant Horse. Okay, this was the... It was around this point right here. So the very last game that they made was Bejeweled 3 and then Vacation Quest Australia. Then Amazing Adventures, and then this point forward was when they were fully under the control of EA. So last few games that they made were Bejeweled 3, Escape the Emerald Star, Unpleasant Horse, which got pulled from the App Store apparently. It's a bit of a weird story. I'll have to go into more detail as we get closer to that. Bejeweled 3, Zuma Blitz, Plants vs. Zombies Limited Edition, no clue. Yeah, like at a certain point they just stopped making bangers. And then when they were acquired by EA, at a certain point, I think Hidden Agenda was the very last game that they made under their own roof. And I have never even heard of that one. But everything from that point forward was fully EA, and like look at the number of games before and the number of games after. It's quite a stark change. Anyway, I could go on about that for a while, but we have game to play. I can't wait to continue this series and create just an educational playlist, basically, about the history of this weird-ass company. PopCap, I really don't know how to feel about them as a company, because they used what would be considered to be kind of dirty tricks with some of their stuff. Like the idea of, oh, you have a stripped down version of the game and you can play it, or you can play the real game by paying money. Not unlike strategies of like shareware developers, and which, I mean, PopCap in their old days were making games in the era of shareware. I didn't even notice this peck over here. Please don't choke. That would suck. That would suck a lot. Thank you. I want to stop playing this level. I mean, PopCap's first games were made in the heyday of shareware. A little bit, as the practice was starting to wane a little bit, but some of those super old games literally had, what's the word for it? Registration keys. Let's try Who here. Oh, great. This might also be a good level for Renfield. But they used a lot of practices that would kind of be considered, it would like toe the line between being a dirty trick and being an interesting marketing strategy. But I feel like the differentiator is that PopCap held a lot of goodwill with their community. Like, they were known for making good, like, being honest folk and making good casual games. And I suppose if you were to peel back the layers and, like, analyze their marketing strategy, it would come across as a little underhanded at times, but it didn't really matter. Because, like, they're PopCap. Why would you be mad at them? Some of the weird stuff that they did, you could chalk it up either to the environment around them or involvement by third parties like EA. I mean, it feels weird calling EA a third party, but in this case, that's what they were. Oh, hey. How is this gonna work? Oh no. Ah, that was stupid. Come on, I almost have this. There we go. Okay, that was... I actually did pretty well on that one. Who to use on this one? I feel like this is a Renfield moment. Oh, bad luck. Very bad luck. And I mean, it's a really interesting question, and I feel like it boils down, it's a very similar situation as Valve in their prime as well. It really boils down to who's asking. Because there are people who could go on all day about Valve's business practices, and how destructive they were to the gaming scene as a whole, and things like the introduction of loot boxes to the main stage, which, I mean, you can't really argue with that. That is a factual statement. Team Fortress 2 was the game that introduced... Oops, sorry. Why did I say sorry? TF2 was the game that introduced loot boxes to the main stage. That was awful. Let's try Renfield again, but this time not focus on the green pegs as much. And you could argue other things regarding, like, their virtual economy with things like refined metal again in TF2, or things like the lucrative cases and keys of Team Fortress 2 and CS:GO, and the skin system of CS:GO. Like, there are many things that you could point to for being very underhanded and parasitic ways of doing business. But at the same time, Valve has built up Valve has built up the goodwill that a lot of those sort of opinions can be countered just with basically just by saying, well, I mean, yeah, but it's Valve. And I feel like it's a very similar situation here. A company's public image matters a ton when it comes to whether or not people accept their practices. Like, look at EA. EA, it's no mistake that EA makes some very shoddy decisions for the user experience in favor of making money. that's kind of become their thing. Like, they're known for that shit, for stuff like FIFA especially, sports games, and them basically integrating a trading card aspect into a sports game, creating a very lucrative game that is an absolutely terrible user experience. Makes them tons of money, but it ruins the games that have this sort of formula applied. And as well as that, think about games like Battlefield. Not Battlefield, Star Wars Battlefront, that's the game I'm thinking of. Where this formula was applied to the game and completely destroyed it. Like Battlefront 2, which had literally ways that you could pay money to instantly win levels, to instantly win matches and gain levels, kind of just because you forked over the cash. This was hugely unpopular, but in the eyes of EA's higher-ups, it was seen as a good business decision. And it was judged by the community as, oh great, EA doing EA things again. Now, on the exact opposite side of the coin, you have indie developers. And I know, I feel like it's kind of a trite argument, even. Like, oh, the horrible AAA company versus the virtuous indie developer. There are a lot of shitty indie developers. Don't get me wrong. But with shareholders not breathing down the indie developers' necks, they have a chance at being good people, if nothing else. Doesn't mean they will be good people, but they have a chance. Now, will they always be good people? Hell no. Look at, for instance, Chucklefish, and their treatment of basically using unpaid interns as labor to make Starbound. Or even singular people, not even whole companies, just being shitty. But on the other side of the coin, you have things like, the thing I always think of as, like, positive behavior in this regard is what Denaton did for Hotline Miami 2. For context, Hotline Miami is an awesome series. It is very graphic. Almost famously so. To the extent of something like Mortal Kombat, I'd say. Where it was released, and it was met by backlash? Question mark? It was met by some backlash due to the nature of its violence, and as it was inspired by what's the name of the documentary? I believe the documentary was named Cocaine Cowboys. It glorified violence, and it didn't pretend to do anything else. This is a Master Who moment, I think, because of the portal. So, the game received a decent amount of backlash and was even banned in Australia. The second one, in particular. I don't remember the status of the first one. I believe the first one is also banned, but I don't remember that for certain. Second one was absolutely banned, though. I remember as much. And the response of Denaton is something that you would not expect, like, no AAA developer would ever do this. Denaton just straight up said, I mean, if you want to play the game and you live in Australia, just, like, show us some vague proof that you live in Australia and we will give you the go-ahead to pirate the game. Like, you should be able to experience our game no matter where you are. So we're giving you the keys to the city to do that. Which, that is a cool guy move. Like, there's not really a better way to describe that. That's just a cool thing. That's just a cool move. Oh, that was sick. Come on. Hit both, hit both, hit both. Do it. Ah. Okay, we're good. I was worried I was gonna miss and have to pray to the Illuminati or whatever god or whatever divine deity to actually hit my shots. But again, it doesn't matter whether it's a large company or a small company. Every company can be bad people. Economically or literally bad people. Bad business practices or just generally shitty practices. Like, for instance, Metro Exodus. What ended up happening with that game, I ended up doing a little bit of research because like, the name popped up and I was wondering, hey, why was that? I actually forget why that game got so much controversy. Well, the story goes that roughly a year before its release date, they entered into an agreement with Epic Games to make it a exclusive deal on the EGS. Which I personally have no problem with. I don't really like the console wars, but like that alone is not really that much of a problem to me. What is a problem is the fact that by pulling the game off of Steam in order to fulfill their end of the agreement, they did not account for the boatload of people who had already pre-ordered the game on Steam roughly a year in advance, and we're now just getting denied any chance to get to play the game on Steam because it was now EGS exclusive. What am I doing? And that was I'm slowly losing my ability to speak. It's getting later and later at night. That had nothing to do with Epic besides them signing the deal. And I imagine Epic wanted to stay as far away from this controversy as possible because it wasn't their fault. That was just Metro Exodus's developers being dumbasses and forgetting that they had a whole squadron of people that had paid for their game in advance that were now no longer getting the game, even though they had paid for it in advance. And that was an issue to the point that Steam themselves intervened, which they don't do very often. They stepped in and said that it was unfair for the buyer and refund. I don't know if they refunded people their I don't know if they refunded people who had bought the game or what, but it was a whole thing. But again, it shows that regardless of size, any company can be a bad company. But a public image definitely helps to smooth it out. This is a cinder bottom moment, I think. I've seen the hype clips before of what am I thinking of? Like, you use Zenshot to get it at the bottom there, and then you just watch as it cascades all the way up. I've seen the clips. I've seen the epic YouTube clips before. I don't trust myself to be able to do that. I have to rely on kind of a weird shot here. That was not what I was thinking of, but I was relying on a weird shot, so I guess that works. Oh, no. No, stop. Pardon me. Stop hitting the spiral. Let me see if I can make something funny work here. Alright, Master Who, do the thing. Oh my god, he made it work. How well does it work? Oh my god, that works pretty well. Don't fall out. Yes! 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 Oh my god. Master Who the goat. It's still going. Well, I win. I think. Unless I beef it here. It would have to be some pretty high-priced beef. Hey! No beef today. Cute. Congratulations! Let it forever be known that in consideration for your hard work and effort, we proudly bestow upon you the rank, title, and privileges of a true Peggle Master. But wait! There are still higher ranks to attain. I'm not getting those ranks. Now for the most important part of the game. That's right, it's time for the credits. I'm gonna let these play out. If I tab out, wait, that pauses it, damn it. PopCap framework, interesting. Actually, hang on just one moment. Sorry about that. Had to deal with something real quick. While I was before I unpaused the recording, I took the liberty of checking a little bit forward to see what the next game was. The next game is actually another Peggle game. I said that kind of strangely. Another Peggle game. It's actually not Knights though. I was under the impression that Peggle and Peggle Knights came out right after each other, but there's a bit of a gap. The next game on the list, beta testers, Meat Boy, Monkey Boy. Words. Next game on the list is Peggle World of Warcraft Edition. After that, I think we get to the first of the point-and-click adventure games, because the next game after that is Mystery PI, what was it called? The Lost Lottery Ticket or something like that? Which both the Escape From series, the Mystery PI series, and the Amazing Adventures series I have not touched at all. So I am very interested to see what those games are like. Especially because I've heard basically nothing about them. It seems in the modern day, point-and-click adventure games and like missing object games have been completely lost to time. I don't particularly blame time for forgetting about them. I've never been a fan of hidden object games personally, but I mean, there's still some valuable information to be found there. Oh, it just loops, okay. There's my funny trophy. Awesome. I wish I had something more profound, but I think that's all I got. I guess the last thing I'll do is show what I was talking about. So, next thing on the list will be Peggle World of Warcraft Edition, which is probably going to be a one-off because it's quite a short game to my memory. And then after that, Mystery PI. And then after that, Peggle Extreme, then Amazing Adventures: The Lost Tomb, and then Peggle Knights. So we actually have what is that? What does that add up to? 2 point-and-click adventure games, 2 Peggle spin-off games, and then Knights. So we actually have a decent ways until we get to see Peggle Knights. But for the time being, I guess that's all I got. Hang on. There you are. Thanks so much for watching.